Hi everyone, my name is Michael Hope. I'm the Assistant Principal Bassoonist of your Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra, and we are here today because we have a happy tradition here at the Calgary Phil. At the end of every season, we like to recognize significant career milestones of certain musicians in the orchestra. And today, we are throwing the spotlight on Assistant Principal Horn Heather Wootton, who has just completed 30 years of service in the Calgary Philharmonic, and Principal Harp Tisha Murvihill, who, after 28 years, is retiring. Well, first of all, Heather and Tisha, congratulations on your career so far. It's great to have you here. Tisha, tell us something. Let's look back at history a little bit. What made you decide to come and live in Calgary 28 plus years ago?
Well, there's a memory. I guess as a harpist, there's only one harpist per orchestra, and an orchestra has to be a certain size, or the city has to be a certain size before the harpist is a salaried player rather than per service. So there are only a few of those jobs in North America, and I took the audition up here and I won it, and I am so grateful that Calgary was the place I ended up, for sure.
Wow, we're grateful too. Wow, that's fantastic. And Heather, after living in Calgary for 30 years, what do you love about this place, and why are you glad you moved here?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I always tell people when they ask me why I like living in Calgary, I just, if you have to live somewhere, this is a pretty nice place to live. Yeah. I mean, just think about it. We're an hour from the mountains and just surrounded by nature. And I just find that the general demeanor and the attitude in the city is so welcoming and friendly and warm and kind of relaxed.
We did just win the number 7 in the
That's
most livable
right.
cities.
Did we?
Just
Oh.
a
In
little
the
ahead
world.
of Toronto.
Yeah.
Wow. Tisha, your instrument, well, let's talk about it a little bit. One of the most beloved instruments of all time. To you, having been a harpist for all this time, what is awesome about playing the harp?
Oh, I'm the youngest of 5, so you have to love the attention.
Yep.
And it definitely draws attention if I'm, moving it out on the street, and the little kids will say, "What is that big oven mitt doing out there?" 'Cause when the cover's on,
Yeah,
it
that's
looks
right.
like
That's
a
what it
big
looks
oven mitt.
like.
But yeah, and then, the most is the sound, though. Yeah. Like, the sound is just, and right from the beginning, a lot of instruments, like maybe horn, maybe sound a little rough when you're first starting out, but right from the get-go, Mary Had a Little Lamb sounds so beautiful
Yeah,
on the
it
harp.
does.
It's just a gorgeous sound.
Well, if anybody just runs their hands over it, all of a sudden, wow,
Yeah.
you're in heaven. Well, seeing as we're talking about instruments, Heather, let's talk about your instrument. If there's a deep, dark secret about the French horn, what is it?
Deep, dark secret. Well, everybody asks us what we do with our hand, right?
Yeah.
That's the big question. What do you do with your hand in the bell?
Mm-hmm.
And I usually tell them it's a professional secret, and I can't tell them, or
I see.
I have to kill them. But so that's the big mystery of the horn, is what we do with our hand, and that all stems from how it was initially an instrument with no valves.
Yeah.
And we used to play it without the hand in the bell, and then somebody figured out you could change notes and change the pitch with the hand, and that became sort of part of the sound of the horn as well, right? Because it softens the sound and makes it a little bit more velvety, and so that's one of the sort of the horn mysteries that everybody wonders.
I think what a lot of people don't know is how difficult it is to play the horn. It actually is. I think it's the hardest instrument in the orchestra, and nerve-wracking too, because all the composers love it and they love to use it for solos and things like that. How do horn players deal with that stress? If there's any stress there.
Become slightly neurotic.
Yeah, we're all neurotic.
Well, I always say when kids are choosing an instrument, to play, I always tell my students, to play the horn, you need great ears. You have to be able to hear, and you have to be able to discern pitch really, really acutely. And you need soul, and you need courage.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 things that make a good horn player, I think. Yeah.
And a good brain too. Like the transposition issue is really something. Wow.
Yeah, when they told me I had to play different notes than I was reading when I was first learning. I thought my brain was going to explode. But
Yeah.
you just, now it's like shifting a gear in a car. You just kind of shift gears into a different
that's
key.
right, if you get used to it.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your careers in the orchestra a little bit. I mean, Heather, first of all, the orchestra has really changed since you got here 30 years ago. And what to you is the biggest single difference between the Calgary Phil of 1993 and the Calgary Phil of 2023?
Everybody's younger than me now.
I know. Isn't that something?
I used to be one of the young ones. That's the big change. Yeah, I know. I think it's just grown. I think it's grown artistically. I think every time we bring new people in, I think the level of playing goes up. I think the orchestra sounds terrific right now. I think we've got a huge stable of young, really gifted players that are really committed to their craft and are branching out and doing all kinds of things across the city. They're not just staying in the orchestra. They're spreading their gifts across and creating all kinds of new activities and new opportunities and new series, and it's really amazing to watch. And at one point I thought I was one of those. I think maybe I was at one point, but it's nice to see that that's continuing and even blossoming. I think that the music community in Calgary is just burgeoning right now with talent.
Wow. Tisha, what have you noticed with the passage of time since you've been here?
I agree with Heather, definitely, that everyone is much younger than me now. Yeah, and just with the quality of the orchestra, to me, I sit kind of in between, at the back of the first and second. Sometimes the cellos are right there, but really in the midst of the string section.
Yeah.
And when they have some glorious string moment where they're all by themselves and playing beautiful, lush. I mean, our string section has the most amazing sound right now.
Oh, they
just
really do.
gorgeous, gorgeous.
And playing at a technical level, which I've never seen before with this orchestra. It's really, it makes it hard for us old folks. I mean, I've had to practice so hard to keep up with these young people.
I agree with that, yeah.
Now, at the same time, you've played thousands of glorious concerts with us and made everybody feel terrific with your playing. What will you miss?
For sure, the thing I'll miss the most is, when the audience stands right up and is applauding like crazy, and it's not because, oh, I'm so great or we're so great or whatever. It's because we have given them an experience, something they can remember, something they can talk about, to their friends or whatever. I went to this really cool concert, and that's, as musicians, that's our job. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And so when we see an audience respond like that, I will definitely miss that.
Wow. Well, Tisha and Heather, we're so grateful to have had you playing with us for so long. And just as we wrap up here, I want to say that in my years being here, it's been an honor to play with both of you as a friend and a colleague. And both of you have really inspired me and taught me things. I mean, Heather, watching you at work has taught me just how important it is to always be loving and affectionate with everybody around you. You really elevate every single place you're in with just the amount of the love that you spread around. Everybody knows this about you.
Oh, thank you.
And Tisha, watching you approach your music with the utmost grace and warmth has shown me the value of creating a heavenly and angelic environment for everybody around you. So thank you for that. And I want to say, Heather and Tisha, both of you, all of your colleagues and our community hold you in the highest esteem. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
Mike.
you.
Thanks, Mike.
So thanks for joining us today. It is great to have been here with you and to share with you some stories about our great musicians.